Welcome back to the clinic.
Thank you so much.
So good to see you.
For having me. I'm so excited for this conversation and just like delve into
Get into it.
Yeah. So thank you. All right. Ladies, welcome. I'm Adonia. I'm the founder of The Beauty Beat, and today I am here at the Adonia Medical Clinic with Dr. Ejikeme. If you've been here a while, you know that I am a huge fan. I'm a customer. I come here, I've had, we know. But what we don't always and often talk about we don't talk about enough, I think, about the treatments, the skincare routines, the collagen, the filler, all of those things. It's sort of a bit of a myth. And if it's a myth to me, I'm presuming it is probably a myth to you, or some bits are. Dr. Ejikeme and I were here the other day. I was having some treatment on my scalp, and we then started talking about other possibilities, and it was just a whole new world to me. I didn't know that there were so many options available for a wealth of different things. And so I immediately wanted to have a conversation with you, didn't I? And a conversation that we could bring you along on, just to kind of, I think, debunk some myths, to talk about some subjects that are, taboo, or perceived as taboo. And just to have a really honest, open conversation with someone that I trust, from the aesthetics world. And so here we are today. So with no further ado, Dr. Ejikeme, welcome. Well, you should be welcoming me. I'm in your world. Yes. Thank you for agreeing to have this conversation and to educate and share your knowledge and your expertise with the Beauty Beat community, and also just to talk about some of the things, some of the treatments, some of the technology that is available, that is suitable for women that look like you and I, and some of the things that, if we want to, we can explore. This is not an advert, you don't, most of us don't need anything, and it's not something that we have to be doing. But if we are thinking about sort of different, technologies, tweakments, treatments, then I think it's good for us to know exactly what we're getting into. I think it's good to have a trusted voice. I trust you implicitly. And so here we are today.
But first of all, I'm really glad that we're having this conversation. When we started the conversation, it was, what treatments can you have? Why can you do them? Why should you do them? Why shouldn't you do them? And the more we talked, the more we saw there was more to talk about.
Yes. Yes.
And you are an expert in beauty. So if you're having questions, certainly everybody else is having questions. And that's kind of one of the things that's so important to me, which is, first and foremost, have the right education.
Yes.
Know what you're getting into, know what is good for you, know what you shouldn't do.
Yes.
And also, don't let anybody ever sales you. Sells you on so that you're safe. That's really key for me. And that's why I post on socials. That's why I want to make sure that people understand what you can do and what you shouldn't be doing.
Great. Good. So we're going to delve into it then. There is so much to talk about that we're going to have a conversation today, but we're going to split it into 4 different sections or episodes. So we're going to delve into some of the areas, there's so much that we couldn't do it all, but some of the popular areas and popular treatments around the face, around our hair, body, and then we're going to do also an episode that really focuses on ladies who are, on their motherhood journey, pregnant, postpartum, or beyond. So those are the 4 episodes. I am going to caveat that I am not a doctor. Dr. Ejikeme is, but I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. If you are thinking about having any treatments, tweakments, anything like that, you should always have a consultation. That's definitely something you should be doing. Today is more a conversation for us to explore some of the treatments out there and delve into them, particularly from a perspective for, women of colour, black women. And so, that's what we're going to do. So we are going to start with the basics. Well, basics for me, which is skin routine. So, as ladies, in whatever stage that might be, whether we're in our 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, beyond, what does a good skin routine that really nurtures our skin, protects our skin, and works well for our skin. Sort of, I know it's hard to sort of say at any stage,
Yeah.
but what are the foundations of a good skin routine?
So this is probably the number one question that I get asked, both in clinic and outside. How do you build a good skincare routine? And there are patterns that you can use no matter your age. And one of the things that I like to do is the 5-step skincare routine. But before you get into the routine, you have to know your skin type.
Okay, yeah.
And in order to understand your skin type, there's a little experiment that I like you to do, which is essentially wash your face in the morning with a gentle cleanser. Don't put anything on your skin, let your skin be completely dry, and wait 20 minutes. And if you have dry skin, this can be particularly tricky. Leave your skin. If at the end of 10 to 15 minutes, your skin feels dry, irritated, extremely matte, maybe even tight after using a gentle cleanser, then you probably have dry skin. If you're someone who is oily all day, and after doing this, your skin actually feels quite moisturized, then you have oily skin. Okay. And the most important thing is everyone thinks there are 25 different skin types. There are only 2 genuine skin type. Not menopausal skin, sensitive skin. It is oily skin or dry skin. That's it. And most people will tend towards oily or tend towards dry. I hate the term normal skin because, come on, we've all got normal skin. Yes. So you're either tending towards oily skin or tending towards dry skin. Okay. Any skin type can then be dehydrated.
Okay, so you could have tending to be oily skin that is just dehydrated and perhaps presenting as dry skin.
Yes, and this is probably where most people get it wrong. Because you've got oily skin, but it's dehydrated, and you're using all these really nourishing products that are made for dry skin. What happens in that situation? You get breakouts, you get melia, you get irritation, and it's like your skin just seems to be freaking out. Okay. So remember, if you've got oily skin, you do this test, your skin actually feels quite moisturized or is actually oily by the end of the day, or you have visible pores, or you have lots of breakouts. You have got oily skin.
So 2 types of skin, that's, sounds easy for me. Yeah. 2 main types of skin, wash your face, dry, see how it feels, and then make a determination. Yes. Of course, it's always best to see a specialist, doctor, expert, but if we're just doing something at home, that's a simple thing to do.
This is your basics. Okay. Now, again, you may have sensitivity, you may have dehydration, but this is a great base to start with. Okay. Now you know what skin type you have, you now know where you should go in terms of products. So I have a 5-step skincare routine that starts with your cleanser. Okay, so that's your cleanser, it's just your face wash. What are you washing with? If you have dry skin, you're going to go with a gentle cleanser. If you have oily skin, you're going to go with a foaming cleanser.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now, what about if I've got an oily T-zone, you are oily skin, go with your foaming cleanser. Okay. So the next step is your antioxidant, that's your serum. And the point of this step is to prevent free radical damage. Now, free radicals are these energized particles that whiz around the skin, and they will present as dryness, irritation, pigmentation, uneven skin tone, and redness depending on your skin type. Okay. And so what causes this are things like pollution, or just the harsh weather. Everything in our day-to-day lives cause these energized particles, and you can neutralize them with an antioxidant. Okay. And that's things like your vitamin C. Okay. Your resveratrol, coenzyme Q, niacinamide.
I'm going to stop you there because already I'm like, it was starting well, and I was like, I'm going to cleanse and I'm going to use a serum. Yes. And then now we've gone into all different serums. So I suppose what I want to make this really simple for people at home.
So we've got your cleanser, and then we have your morning serum. Okay. And your serum can be something like an antioxidant, such as vitamin C, to help protect your skin.
Lovely. Okay, so I'm doing well so far. Thinking of my own skincare routine, I'm on point. Carry on.
So after you've got your cleanser, your serum, your next step is your moisturizer. Yes. And again, let's split your skin types. If you have oily skin, you're going to go for a lighter moisturizer that won't clog your pores, like a gel-based or a water-based moisturizer. And if you have dry skin, you can have something a little bit more nourishing, a bit more rich, and that's your thicker daytime moisturizer.
So cleansing. So in the morning we're cleansing, we're seruming. It's not a word, but and then we are moisturizing. I'm doing all of those things. Okay.
And then you finish off your morning routine with your sunscreen.
Okay, SPF.
And your SPF is something like SPF 30 or 50 maybe in the summertime, and it's there to prevent uneven skin tone, and premature aging in dark skin types.
Okay, and so SPF, let's just clear this up now.
Yeah.
We should be using it every day,
Yeah.
even if we're in the UK, and even if it's November or January, we still should be using SPF.
Yes, the truth about it is if you have melanin, you are genuinely getting some protection from your melanin. That is irrefutable. Okay. But the amount of protection that you're getting is not as much as you need to prevent things like premature fine lines, uneven skin tone. So if those things are important to you, then use a sunscreen.
Okay, fine. And that's really interesting. I just want to pick up on that point because, you know, there's so much conversation around SPF. So our melanin does give us a level of protection.
Absolutely.
So we, you know, because I always think, you know, well, you know, we've got elders in, you know, that don't use and that sort of thing. So melanin gives us a level of protection, but not necessarily enough protection given the current climate and, you know, our daily lives now and things like that. So we are definitely using an SPF all year round.
Yes.
Great. Okay. Yeah. That's very simple.
And I think it's important to nod that we do have some protection.
That's because I think that's where sometimes I get confused, you know, the fact that I'm like, but I know that I have some protection, some protection from the sun. But yeah, but we're clear. That's very clear. SPF every day if you want additional protection, additional sort of support from, you know, this against the sun.
The sun, exactly. If you're trying to prevent dark circles, premature fine lines, uneven skin tone, mottled skin, all of these things, then the thing that you could do is to wear sunscreen.
Okay. Great. Okay, so that's number 4. And what's number 5 then?
So that's number 5 is how you customize your routine. And I like to do that step at night. So at nighttime, you're going to use your wash that you use in the morning. You're going to use a serum. But you're going to tweak this and change this. This is how you create a bespoke routine. Okay. Everybody has a concern. And whatever your skin concern is, you have one product that's addressing that. So for example, if your concern is uneven skin tone, you need a product that addresses uneven skin tone.
Okay. Yes.
If your concern is fine lines, you need something like a retinol that will address fine lines. So something in your routine needs to be specific to your personal concerns.
And so my personal concern or, you know, thing is always going to be glow and even skin tone.
Okay.
You know, guilty. And so for me, my 5th step of that sort of foundational skincare routine would be a product that deals with that specifically.
Exactly.
But if it was, you know, fine lines or, you know, whatever my personal individual concern might be, that 5th step would be bespoke to that.
Exactly.
Okay.
So how it would work, you would do your cleanser again at night, your serum, your product for your key concern, and then your moisturizer.
Okay. And so that comes, the bespoke product comes after your serum.
Absolutely.
Simple, easy.
And that is it. You know, it doesn't have to be 15 steps. It doesn't have to be expensive products. It doesn't have to be loads of products. But this is how you create, and it's going to change depending on your age and your stage.
Yes.
But if you use this framework, you can really design a skincare routine that works for pretty much anybody.
Okay, so that's it. We know that the foundations of a protective, nourishing, you know, sustainable, good skincare routine, 5 steps. Dr. Ejikeme, that's what she's saying. Great.
Approved.
That's approved, yes. Dr. Ejikeme approved. Love that. And so we could not delve on skin. I could not delve on skin as a Black woman, you know, for a community of women of colour without looking at hyperpigmentation in detail. I know that everyone will have different concerns, but hyperpigmentation is something that we get asked so much about, whether it be at Beauty Beat live event or in our DMs, or, you know, it's always hyperpigmentation. So what can we do about hyperpigmentation generally? Of course, everyone will have individual sort of, you know, skin conditions and requirements. But as a general rule, for women of colour, Black women who have melanated skin and who suffer from hyperpigmentation, what are the solutions? Help us.
So hyperpigmentation is the number 1 thing that we treat in the clinic, and interestingly, it's the number 1 concern that people have about their skin globally. So people think it's fine lines and wrinkles. It is not. It is mottled skin tone, uneven skin tone, and high pigmentation. It's not unique to black women, but it's certainly the more melanin you have, the more prone you are to high pigmentation. And the first thing I want to say is high pigmentation is not our enemy. People think, oh my gosh, I've got high pigmentation, But if you have melanin, it's like this. They're hand in hand if you have melanin. But the really important thing about high pigmentation is it's always telling us something.
Okay.
Our bodies have melanin to tell us messages. The problem is sometimes we've forgotten how to read those messages. So when you see high pigmentation, the first thing you need to do is to ask why. Before how to fix it, ask why. So I like to think about it in 3 steps. The first is, why is it happening?
Okay.
What are we doing to reduce it? And the third, how do we prevent it?
Yes.
So the first, why is it happening? This is crucial. You have to figure out what it's telling you. Now, one question I often get asked is high pigmentation on the face, the neck, the body. The most important thing that you can take from this is inflammation leads to pigmentation.
Okay.
So if there is an inflammatory driver, and it doesn't matter what that inflammation is, it could be eczema, it could be breakout, it could be pressing on your skin, scrubbing on your skin. If hormones, anything that causes inflammation can lead to pigmentation. So what we have to do is understand what is the inflammation, address that, and the pigmentation will start to go down even by itself.
Okay. So what you're saying, what I'm hearing is that, we can treat hyperpigmentation and put, all the serums and so forth. But if we're not getting to the cause and understanding and trying as best as we can to prevent reoccurrence, it's just a cycle.
It's just a cycle.
Okay.
So let's talk about 3 of the most common forms of hyperpigmentation that we see. The first, some people call it sunburn or pigmentation around the eyes. The second is melasma, where you see a symmetrical pattern on the cheeks, the nose, the forehead. And the third is marks on the skin after breakouts.
Okay. I think the third is one that we hear a lot about.
Yeah.
Getting spots, breaking out, whether that be throughout the month or a particular time of the month.
Yeah.
Doing our best not to touch those spots, but we are human, and then sort of dealing with the aftermath of the marks that are left.
Yeah. So these 3 areas that tend to occur, the first is around the eyes or around the mouth. These are just areas that tend to have more pigment and become comparatively darker with time. So protecting the skin as much as you can by using an antioxidant like a vitamin C and your sunscreen will reduce the amount that this happens over time.
So what I'm hearing is that for hyperpigmentation that's particularly around the mouth and the eyes, that increases over time with age. Definitely something I've noticed. For sort of the treatment of that, we're looking at potentially a vitamin C serum or the vitamin C active and sunscreen. So that will help prevent it sort of worsening for those particular areas. That's really good to know.
Now the next biggest element is melasma.
Okay.
Now melasma is a symmetrical pigmentation. You see it over the cheeks, tops of the nose, above the upper lip, and it's driven by hormones. It's genetic. But the 2 things people don't often know is that it's made worse by heat and pressure as well. So the sunlight, heat and pressure, as well as hormones, can all make it worse.
Okay.
Really important to know that it is a chronic condition. It doesn't come and go. It kind of comes on. And then whatever you're doing is kind of keeping it at bay.
Okay.
So with this, again, you protect. You protect the skin. You prevent the things that are making it worse. Reduce sun exposure, reduce heat. Don't scrub it. It's not going to help. By scrubbing it away, it won't go away. And then making sure that you use sunscreen, but also that's the one that you use your tinted sunscreen for. That works brilliantly.
So tell me, so a tinted sun cream. So if I've got melasma, I don't have melasma, but we've got girlfriends and family members that do. So for them, they should be protecting it at all costs.
Yes.
And a tinted sunscreen is going to be helpful.
Yes.
Okay, why tinted?
So a tinted sunscreen also reduces the impact of visible light, and visible light is disproportionately affects melasma. So you want a tinted sunscreen that has iron oxide in it. Now,
see, these are the things we don't know. So I would just be thinking, okay, if I had melasma, I'm like, right, protect it at all costs, sunscreen. I wouldn't know that a tinted sunscreen would have these extra beneficial, that's brilliant.
A hack that you don't have to run off and buy a new tinted sunscreen. Iron oxide is basically like a reddish tint in pretty much all our makeup.
Oh, yeah.
In all our makeup, our foundations, there's already iron oxide, and that's enough.
Okay.
So you can wear a regular sunscreen, and if you wear like a BB cream or foundation or anything on top, you're protected. You don't have to buy a new tinted sunscreen.
That's also helpful. Okay, thank you.
So that's melasma.
Melasma, okay.
Yeah. And then we've got post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, marks on the skin from anything. It could be excess pressure, but spots is the biggest one.
Yeah.
So now, I've heard so many times people say, I didn't touch the spot, I didn't squeeze the spot, but it still left a dark mark.
Yes,
yeah.
Because sometimes I really am, I'm not going to do it. And also they're quite tender, and so I don't. But yet still, when it sort of reduces, there is still a mark there. Yes. So what do we do for that?
So that's the rule, unfortunately. Inflammation leads to pigmentation. So if you've got a spot, they're painful, it's irritated, that's inflammation. That will pull some pigment into it. So even if you haven't touched it, it is going to get some pigment.
Interesting, okay.
But if you touch it...
even more so.
Yes, it'll be more inflamed. If you squeeze it, it'll be even more inflamed, and that will drag more pigment. So the mark that would have lasted maybe 2 weeks is now going to last 3 to 6 months.
I see.
So you have to sit on your hand. It's the hardest thing, that it's not just pressing the spots, it is literally touching your face. So you wash your face, but don't spot find.
Okay.
So don't spot find. Just wash your face and then let it be.
And just let it be.
Yeah.
Okay.
So for each of these three, now we've figured out what you need to do about them, why they occur, how you can reduce them. But for all of them, there's a group of products that are helpful to reduce them.
Okay, so we kind of delved into why the inflammation is happening, or why the hyperpigmentation is happening, inflammation. So that's the why. So now the how do we treat it?
Yeah.
So that, I think, it's so good to understand what we can be doing to help prevent it as much as we can. But so if it's already happening, and while we're navigating into this new protection sort of skincare, how do we get rid of them? Yeah.
So we get rid of them with a group of products called tyrosinase inhibitors. Now, this group of products, I know is...
I love the way that she can those words just roll off the tongue.
Well, these are a group of products that help reduce excess pigment. And there are lots of them. And they can reduce pigment in lots of different ways. Can I just be clear
that we are not talking about skin lightening products?
No.
We are not talking about that. So let's just hear Doctor out and make sure that we're really hearing what she's saying.
So let's remember what you're talking about. We're talking about you have a dark mark on your skin.
Yes.
And you're trying to remove that dark mark.
Yes.
Your natural skin tone is beautiful. You're not going to change that.
Great.
So how do we address the dark marks? These group of products are called tyrosinase inhibitors. And there are lots. Some are very weak and some are very strong. The more dark marks you have, the more significant the pigmentation, the stronger you will need.
Okay.
Just like a weak antibiotic or a strong antibiotic, everybody's different depending where you're starting.
So it depends what your starting point is in terms of, what hyperpigmentation you have, the level of it, the intensity of it will then determine what treatment, or not treatment, but what products you will use.
Yes. So starting on the weaker end of the spectrum are things like kojic acid, licorice extract, even mushroom extract. These are things that can help reduce dark marks.
I've heard of those ingredients, yes.
Tranexamic acid. And then we get stronger and stronger, our butane, and then we have prescription products.
Right, so if I I always do. I have hyperpigmentation. If I'm going into a store and I want to pick up a product that will help reduce the appearance of my hyperpigmentation, what does that look like? What product should I be purchasing or reaching for?
So rather than one product, I like to talk about ingredients.
Okay.
Because of certain people are more sensitive to one ingredient over another, and I like combination ingredients.
Okay, so we're focusing on ingredients rather than a singular product.
Okay. 100%.
Okay.
So ingredients include things like butane, licorice extract, tranexamic acid, azelaic acid. These are fantastic.
We'll make a note of these in the comments because I didn't get those either, but yes.
And looking out for something that addresses a product that has combination ingredients, or you getting combination ingredients, works brilliantly.
Okay.
That's one part. The second element is exfoliating the skin.
Okay.
And when you exfoliate the skin, you reveal all the treatments that you've been done. It sloughs up the upper layers gently, and you get to see it. And so you're looking for something more like mandelic acid, which is a very large molecule. It's very, very gentle, or lactic acid, which is very hydrating. Pairing these together, a good cleanser, a good serum, a gentle exfoliation a few times a week. This is how you can really start to get great results,
Okay.
even without using the prescriptions.
Okay, so that sounds, again, what I'm hearing is that we are looking at prevention,
Yeah.
protection, and then ingredients, and looking, again, we'll list those in the captions,
Yeah.
but we're looking at ingredients that are really helpful in, just reducing those dark marks.
Yeah.
And then obviously exfoliation. We know that exfoliation, does what it says on the tin, takes off, layers of the skin, which will reveal new, fresh skin. Okay.
And I think one thing to remember is that the things that I've mentioned won't necessarily remove all the excess pigment.
No.
So if that dark mark has been there for a very long time, or it is really deep down in the dermis, you may not get as much improvement from an over-the-counter. And one really simple test to do is if you take a patch of pigment that you have somewhere on your face or your body and you stretch it, if it gets brighter, you know that over-the-counter products will probably work.
What do you mean if it gets brighter?
So take a patch of pigment on your hand and just stretch it. Stretch that skin. Take a scar, for example. Stretch it. Okay. You'll see if you stretch that scar, it doesn't change. It looks the same color. Now, for example, over your knuckles, stretch over your knuckles a little bit, and you see it changes color.
Oh.
So that's superficial pigmentation versus deep pigmentation.
Interesting.
So for something that's relatively superficial, what we've mentioned should work.
Okay.
But if it's an old scar, it's something deeper, these will likely not work. And in that situation, you may need to see a doctor to chat about more prescription medications that you can use, or this is where treatments come in. Things like a chemical peel or even a pico laser can be excellent at targeting that deeper pigment whilst maintaining your natural even skin tone.
And that's a great bridge, because I did want to kind of delve into, we've spoken about, the foundations of a good skincare routine that you can do at home. We've obviously, when we're talking about skin as a black woman, I have to talk about hyperpigmentation.
Yeah.
But that is a really nice sort of bridge into tweakments, I suppose. Tweakments, treatments, technology. Yeah. There is so much out there.
There is.
And I am a marketer's dream. I like to try everything. I love beauty. I love treatments. But what are they all? And full transparency, we're not going to be able to do all of them today.
No.
But definitely want to talk about chemical peels.
Yeah.
Definitely want to talk about lasers and the masks and, all the things that we're doing at home. And I think, and I am going to say filler, because when I think about tweakments, again, I'm not a novice. That's why we've got Doctor here today. I think about filler and Botox, and those are what I deem tweakments. Yeah. That is just
it's the tip of the iceberg.
It's the tip of the iceberg. So, if we are talking about, black women generally, and this is, again, very general, should we be having peels? Okay. And can we be having peels? And if we are having facial peels, what are they doing for our skin?
Whenever I see someone and we start talking about tweakments, there's often fear.
Yes.
Like fear of, are you going to give me big lips and these cheeks?
I don't want to look mad. I don't want to look mad out here on the streets.
What I always say is if you can see it, it's not good work.
Okay, great.
So it should be invisible. And that's key. It should be invisible. Whatever you're doing should be invisible, and it should be natural to you. Yeah. And the goal is to look like you on your best day, not like an altered other version of you.
Yeah, yes, that's great.
So
me on my best day.
Your best day.
Yes, okay.
And that looks different to everybody. You on your best day, some people, they look tired and their focus is around the eyes. Other people, it's, I just feel like there's some pigmentation that just changes the way that I look, and I just feel like I don't look exuberant.
Okay.
For other people, it's, I've lost loads of weight and my face just looks drawn. And for some, it's, I have these like fine lines on my forehead. People tell me I look cross all the time. I don't feel cross. And so you on your best day is different. And I think that's key.
Our best days are going to be different. So, what I would want, I would always have a tweakment or a treatment if I'm going to, that increases glow.
Yes.
But then for other ladies, it will be, as you say, fine lines, or, you know, so in terms of a facial peel, what would that do for the average person? I know that there are different types of peels, and so we're not going to go into all of that, because I do think that it's very individual. But in terms of a peel, a chemical peel on your face, what does that do? What is the benefit of that?
Okay, so peels tend to do three things. It can help make the skin glow, reduce fine lines, it can even the skin tone, or it can help with breakouts.
Okay.
So that's the majority of the reasons why you have a peel. And the peel will be changed depending on which of those is your main concern. So if it's breakouts and acne, there's a peel you have. If it's glowing skin, there's a peel you have. And if it's, you know, I feel like my skin has changed or aged, there's a peel that you have.
Okay, so different peels, a bit like products, different peels or chemical peels will address different concerns. And so you then, or we then, have to let our doctor, our dermatologist, know what our main concern is, so that they can then sort of assign the best appropriate peel. And the best peel. Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah, and then the peel can be superficial, which means less peeling, or deep, which means more peeling.
Okay.
And one thing I would advise anybody having a peel, it's important that you prep your skin. And you need to know this. You need to know that if you're a black woman, you need to prep your skin, and never let anyone do a peel for you without prepping your skin.
And what does prepping the skin, what does that mean?
Prep the skin means that essentially you are getting your skin ready for a peel. We have pigment, and that pigment responds to inflammation. So a peel will cause a little bit of inflammation. So prepping your skin means if your skin is dry, irritated already, it's not the time. A prep for you will mean get your skin hydrated. Use a gentle cleanser, a moisturizer, sunscreen for a few weeks. Get your skin really hydrated before you even contemplate a peel. So
we're making sure that before we do a peel, whatever our concern is for that peel, that our skin is in the best sort of condition it can be pre-peel. And you need to be on some form of tyrosinase inhibitors. That's that group of products that you use to help prevent overreaction of the pigment producing cells. It does not change your skin tone. It just, you use it for a few weeks before your peel, and your doctor will talk to you about this. And it means that it's even safer. This is your extra blanket. This is your extra safety. And for me, it's a standard. All our patients will always have. It means it's safe. Why wouldn't you do it? Why wouldn't you do it? Because if it's safer and your results are better, because your skin is in a better condition than when you started. So your peel will be better and safer. Okay, so we're prepping our skin. So we are identifying what our concern is. We're then speaking to our doctor about the best peel for that concern. We're then prepping our skin. And we're doing all of this before any sort of anything goes onto our skin in a clinic. And this is a good rule generally with tweakments. If you're doing a tweakment, you should be looking after your skin first. So you should have a skincare routine. You should be using sunscreen. You should be on something that addresses your core skin concern first. And once you've done that for a few weeks, then think about your chemical peels, your fillers, your everything else that you're doing. I think that's really clear. And yes, I didn't know that there were different types of peels for different concerns. And I didn't know as well that you needed to prep your skin in sort of conjunction with your doctor pre-peel. I just thought you could rock up and then you would just peel me. And I think for me, and maybe for many of you, when I think about a chemical peel, the thing that kind of I'm most concerned about is the downtime. I'm not even thinking about the preparation pre-peel. I'm just thinking, how many days am I out, and how am I gonna, I'm gonna look like a sort of snake peeling. So that's really, that is very vital information. It's crucial. For me, the prep is actually more important than the peel. The prep is so important. It will determine how you're going to peel. We have over 50 different chemical peels. Wow, 50? Over 50. And the reason for that is everybody's different. Different depths, different skin tones, different concerns. But the one thing that's universal is I prep everybody. And when you prep, you can literally set your clock to how your results will be and how you will peel. That's crazy. So, 50 different types of peels. I'm today years old. I thought that there were maybe, sort of max 5. And the fact that, you know, despite the vast options of peel, the one thing that is universal is the preparation.
Oh, completely. We have a peel that I can tell my patients, if you're prepped for 4 weeks, you do it on a Wednesday, I know 5 o'clock on a Friday, you will peel. I know you'll peel Saturday and Sunday, and on Monday, you'll be back to work. That is very difficult to do if you're just walking off the street.
Yes, of course.
You'll peel for 6 weeks, maybe 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks, or however many you're going to peel.
Yes.
But when you get the skin, all the skin cells at the same level, I know that they will then peel. After treating thousands of people, we literally can put our clock to it. So you can therefore get a peel that is specific to your lifestyle, to your work life, to your home life. And, you know, sometimes you'll want a deep peel or need a deep peel. And sometimes you just want a bit of a refresh.
Yes.
And you don't want to have lots of downtime.
Yes.
Or you want to and there's so many different peels. It's not one for everybody. You really can make it bespoke.
So the key takeaways for me in terms of chemical peels on our skin is, you know, identifying why you want the peel.
Yeah.
Getting a good doctor.
Yeah.
You know, then preparing your skin.
Prep.
Right. So, okay. As I said before, when I think about tweakments, I think about chemical peels. I think about filler, Botox, and of course, salmon sperm. So we've done chemical peels.
Yeah.
Tell me about filler, and then I'm sure there's a different name for it, but tell me then about the salmon sperm.
Okay. So injectables is our bigger, broader...
Injectables, yes.
Yes, our bigger, broader term, and there are lots of different things that are injectables. One of the things are fillers. You also have skin boosters, and then the salmon sperm, the real name for that is our polynucleotides. And so all of these things can be injected into the skin.
Okay.
And the goal of them is to lift, hydrate, or plump the skin.
Lift, hydrate, plump the skin. Okay.
So the group of fillers, the ones that we use mostly, are hyaluronic acid. So you've heard of hyaluronic acid as it sits on the skin.
Yes.
You can also get a purified form that can be injected into the skin.
Okay.
And this can genuinely be done in a conservative way so you don't see it. And there's a space for it. So if there has been loss of volume, so for example, imagine the cheeks have become deflated,
right,
or you've lost a lot of weight, then they have their place to be done in a conservative way. So you rebuild filler where fat used to sit.
So is that really true? So filler is hyaluronic acid?
Filler is just, well, there are some older fillers, we no
Okay.
longer permanent fillers, but for the purpose of what you should be even considering are hyaluronic acid. It's a jelly.
I had no idea. I don't know what I thought filler was, but it felt like something very foreign, very far away, very sort of scary, and not like something that is in the majority of my the majority of my products at home.
And in the majority of skin.
Yes.
Skin is predominantly hyaluronic acid based. And it's plant based, so it's a hyaluronic acid. It's a clear see-through gel that is injected into the skin that has an outcome, which is, the goal is to lift. So if you've got deep circles, or you've got loss of volume in the chin, then fillers are there to help project.
Okay. So if I'm worried, if I'm sort of thinking, okay, you know, my cheeks or whatever it might be on my face are not in the same sort of position or feeling as, you know, opulent as they once were, I could opt for filler.
Exactly.
Ladies can opt for filler. Okay.
Then you've got skin boosters. So
Okay.
skin boosters, think about these as an internal moisturizers, and there are lots of them.
I love that. Yeah.
And these are still injected into the skin, but they do not stay there. They don't fill the space, they just hydrate the skin.
Okay.
And these are things like Profilo, which is an injected moisturizer, or polynucleotides. So
salmon sperm.
The salmon sperm. So they're not actually
No,
fresh salmon sperm. So a nucleotide is, if you go to the building blocks of our DNA, these are nucleotides, and they're available in plants, animals, even some virus, even some plants, animals, and even some bacteria.
Okay.
So these are the nucleotides. Polynucleotides is lots of them together.
Yeah,
And if you think about that, what the body's doing there, you inject them and they start a conversation with the skin. That's what they're supposed to do. Okay. So they're signals. They can tell the body to start thinking about producing collagen, start thinking about improving vasculature. So that's the goal of them. So they're injected into the skin to help your body heal itself.
So if I, for example, am thinking that collagen, which I know is like, you know, the hot topic at the moment. So if I want to increase my collagen production, what you're suggesting, I think, is that there is a world in which you can then inject, sort of have an injectable treatment that is collagen based.
Polynucleotides aren't collagen, they're peptides, like the building blocks of proteins.
Okay.
So they start a conversation with the skin.
Okay.
There are actually loads of different injectable treatments that stimulate collagen.
Okay.
One of them is sculpture. And this is one people should have heard about and think about. And that works by causing a little cell in the skin to produce more collagen.
Right.
So there are lots and lots of ways to stimulate collagen.
Okay.
Polynucleotides is one that is really buzzy right now.
Okay.
You can't open a magazine about tweakments without reading about it. So it's important you know what it can do and what it can't do.
Okay.
So it starts a conversation with the skin. The results are gentle. The areas that I see great improvement is around the eyes.
Okay.
So think of it kind of a little refresh, but it's not a filler.
So I suppose for me, again, I'm a complete novice in this area in terms of injectables. But what I'm sort of hearing and understanding is that injectables, there are lots and lots and lots out there, but they kind of fall into two categories. A filler injectable that will fill and plump and sort of fill. And then moisturizing or building block injectables that go in, start conversations. They don't fill any gaps, but they kind of they kickstart your body. Yeah. Is that accurate?
They're more. So with our injectables, we have things like PRP or platelet-rich plasma, which is
what I had in my head.
Yes. You take your own body, we purify it, spin it down, and then we inject it back into the skin. So that would be something that comes from you. And then there are things that come from salmon. So that would be the polynucleotides.
Okay.
And there'd be things like exosomes. So there are lots of different types. What's important to know that some things fill, and they're hyaluronic acid based. But if that's not something that sits well with you, there are lots and lots and lots of other options that are encouraging your body to help itself.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is that if there's a lady and she wants to enter into the world of injectables, I mean, it's a minefield, sort of injectables. And again, like I think of injectables and I just think filler or Botox, whereas what you're saying is that there are so many different options. So if a lady, a member of our community, me, anyone, if they have a concern that they want to potentially explore and the route of injectables, what should they do? How should they safely and conservatively, as you say, explore that if they choose to?
So the first thing is you need a consultation. Yeah.
Yes.
So have a consultation. In that consultation, you're looking for multiple things. First of all, rapport with the doctor to make sure that they understand what your needs are, they're listening to you, and they can show that they've treated people that look like you. That's the first thing. But feeling comfortable is really key. The second is making sure they have the right credentials. So you can look them up. You can look them up and don't be afraid to ask.
Should we just be Googling doctors, or is there a register? Where should we be looking?
First thing you can do is any doctor who's registered is on the GMC. So you can go to the GMC, put their name in, and you'll see that they are registered.
Okay, we will link that below. So just in case you're interested, you know where to go.
The second is what is their level of training? Because there is no one specialty in the UK that has automatic training.
Okay.
So anybody that you see, GP, doctor, specialist, dermatologist, plastic surgeon, you need to know what training do they have to treat you.
Yes.
And that is a question, and they won't get upset. They shouldn't get upset. They say, okay, so I'm interested in this. What kind of training have you had? They usually will display the training so that you can see it. Do they have a degree on it? Do they have a level 7? What training do they have that enables them to do this very specific type of treatment which sits outside?
Okay.
That's the second thing. The third, look at before and afters, look at reviews. This is really important, and make sure that you feel that they're listening to you and that they are going to do what sits comfortably with you.
So making sure that the doctor that you are seeing is wanting to do what you want as opposed to what they may be comfortable or they want. That's really key.
Really key. The next thing is you should be having a general consultation. So what are your concerns? What is your skincare routine? They're going to ask you about your medical history. This is really important. Medications. And then what kinds of things are you interested in? What are your goals? They will then assess you, and then together you'll have a plan.
Okay.
And it's important that that plan is multi-pronged. So looking at the skincare. And the skincare that you're using may be enough. It might just need a little tweak. Then we have to look at the skin, the muscles, the fat, and the bones. So for example, if someone's concerned about a jaw, but you have no skincare routine, you have 10 out of 10 stress, and loads of stuff happening in your life, then actually the first thing we need to do is to start with a good skincare routine and come back in a few weeks.
Okay, so it's not always just pick up the needle or pick up the...
It shouldn't be.
Yes.
It shouldn't be. It should be listening to you, what's happening in your life at that stage. Is it the right time? If you have a big exam or a wedding coming up in 2 weeks, that's not the time to do your chin. That should have been done months before.
Yes.
So it's really listening to what's the key concern, and then you build it.
Okay.
And you don't need to know. You don't need to have all the answers. That's the point of the specialist. They should be able to tell you, okay, here are the injectable options. Here are the, we haven't talked about this whole category of like, here are the different treatments that can be used to augment the face, for example, tighten the skin or dissolve fat. Here are the different options that are available. Okay. And here are the non-filler regenerative treatments that are available. And together you make a plan that makes sense for you. Okay. And that will usually involve some skincare, some boosters, or maybe a chemical peel, or maybe a laser.
Okay, and I think, so if I'm honest, today I was wanting to go into, what filler and what injectables, but actually what I'm hearing and what feels, really transparent is the fact that if this is something, if injectables, if tweakments are something that you are thinking about, we need to be really honest with ourselves about what the concerns are. And then we need to find a very good doctor that we gel with, that is qualified, that we know is qualified, that we know is an expert in working on skin that looks like mine or looks like yours. And then building a treatment plan with that doctor and with that specialist or expert.
And it will involve things that concern you now, and also having a long-term view. It's really important to have a long-term view of your skin, because you don't want to do something today that in 5 years' time causes a problem.
Yes.
So it's always like it needs to make sense for you, but get better with time.
Okay.
And one element that I love to think about is thinking about, okay, I have this concern now, but collagen long term. Like collagen.
I'm so happy you mentioned collagen, because collagen was my next thing. So yes, carry on.
So collagen is made from a cell in the skin called the fibroblast. And collagen gives your skin the strength and flexibility. And then you have elastin, which gives you that elastic recoil.
Yes.
But collagen is so important, and there's so much myths
around
collagen.
I mean, if I have one more ad that tells me that this is the collagen.
Drink this collagen.
Drink this collagen.
Rub
take
this
collagen. Sleep in the collagen.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't know. So break it down for us.
Yeah.
Collagen. As a woman in her 40s, I'm told I need to consume all the collagen. What should I be doing? What can I be doing?
Yeah.
What works and what doesn't work?
So the first thing is, as Black women, we have more collagen than other skin types. So that's where we start off with more collagen, which is why fine lines and wrinkling isn't as big a concern younger.
Yes.
So because we have that bounce, that density to the dermis, that bounce. But it does change with time.
Of course, yes.
So from the age of about 18, we're always producing and metabolizing collagen all the time. But what happens is over time, we produce less than is metabolized. So there's a slow decrease in the amount of collagen. So over time, what you see is the skin doesn't snap back like it used to, or it tends to start kind of moving a little bit, or you notice nasolabial folds, nose to mouth lines, or dark circles. And this is changes in the collagen.
I see, right.
So what we need to be focused long term, kind of quietly in the background, if you want to have natural results, is if you can do something to the skin over time that is gently stimulating that collagen.
What is that? That's what I want.
I'll tell you what, it's not. It's not a supplement. So I'm sorry, it's not. They do great things, but it doesn't. You need to do something to the skin, and I'll give you a couple of tips of things that are evidence-based.
Okay, yes.
So evidence-based things that have been proven in terms of skincare: vitamin C, niacinamide, retinol.
Okay, all
That's
right.
it. Yeah. So these have been shown.
I feel so excited because those are ingredients that I know. I'm familiar with them, and hopefully some of you are as well, but they're not sort of this kind of thing I've never heard of and feels very, so yes, tell me more about that.
So these, vitamin C is important in producing collagen. Retinols help to stimulate your cells to produce more collagen, as is niacinamide. There are others, but these are 3 that are evidence-based, and you'll find them in products that are locally available.
Amazing.
Okay? So that's products. Next, we have treatments. The fibroblast, the cell, will not just start producing more collagen just because.
Yes.
You have to do something gentle to those cells to produce more collagen.
Okay.
And the kinds of treatments that can do this are chemical peels.
So back to the chemical peel.
Yeah.
Okay.
Microneedling.
Okay.
And lasers.
Okay.
So doing something to the skin on some form of routine. That could be once a year, that could be twice a year. Everyone starts in a different place. That could be every month if you choose. But doing something gently to the skin with the goal of producing a little bit of collagen over time can be helpful, especially when you reach your 40s and your 50s, because at that point you're getting a lot more metabolism of collagen.
So what we are saying is that as we get older, Black women, women of colour included,
all women,
all women, all of us, we start losing collagen.
Yeah.
And so what we can be doing is using the products, again, we'll list them, the products, retinol, I'm not going to say them because I'm not a doctor, but the ingredients that you've just mentioned, we can be using those topically within our products on our faces.
Yeah.
And then we can be having different treatments, including microneedling. I've heard of that, and I haven't tried it, but that sounds good. And lasers, laser as well, and obviously chemical peels, which we've talked about. So lasers. So
I want to say it again: prep. If you're doing any of these treatments, microneedling, lasers, any of them, really important to prepare the skin.
Okay.
So one other thing that I would say is sunscreen. So the sun will also increase the metabolism of your collagen, so remove more collagen. And sugar. I said it. Sugar.
No.
Yeah.
Don't take away the cupcake.
Sometimes you've got to just eat the cupcake. But just remember that sugar does increase or accelerate.
Why does it taste so good if it's doing so much bad? But anyway, yes.
But I feel the good it does sometimes. It increases your serotonin, makes you happy. That has this. But important to remember, if you have a very, very high sugar diet, it can do lots of things to the skin. One of them is something called glycation, which is basically accelerating the breakdown of collagen. But don't worry too much about that. Just something to think about.
Yes.
So in terms of treatments, there are different types of lasers that can be helpful to stimulate collagen. If your goal is stimulating collagen, remember, we're trying to gently stroke the fibroblast. We do not have to punch the fibroblast. We don't want to destroy, explode the fibroblast.
Don't knock out your collagen cells.
Yeah. So you don't need to be so aggressive. So gentle and frequent.
Yes. Softly is better than
let's just do the hammer and boom. So, and because you're trying to produce, a cell can only produce so much collagen at once. So a little bit, give it time, a little bit, give it time.
And so again, this is a novice question that maybe, hopefully it's not just me, you might have that too. When we're using the at-home masks and the handheld devices, is that laser?
No. So the at-home mask, like an LED mask. LED masks are phenomenal. I really believe in them. I believe in them so much. I made one.
Yes, exactly. Award-winning.
So the LED masks, and specifically red light has been shown red light in general, not one specific mask, has been shown to help stimulate collagen.
Okay.
So, but you have to use it consistently. That's every single day. In my mask, it's for 10 minutes. Different masks have different times, so follow the instructions that it says on the mask. And it's really, really, red light is fantastic.
But red light is not laser.
It's not laser.
Okay.
Some lasers look red.
Yes.
But LED masks are not laser, they're low level light. It's LED, it's literally LED, light emitting diode.
That's great. So just because I think there's a lot of confusion where people are sort of using the wands and the masks and thinking that red light is the same as laser when it comes to collagen. So I'm glad that you've cleared that up. So now that we know that red light is beneficial, should be using it at home every day, whatever your device says, and that will help collagen to some extent. But now we move on to laser, which you would do with a doctor in clinic. 100%. And what does that look like?
So laser is a device that affects an endpoint. That endpoint can be many different things. That endpoint could be water, it could be pigment, or even a tattoo. It could be red, brown, green, and different lasers have different endpoints.
Okay.
There are some lasers that are safe if you have melanin, and there's some lasers that are unsafe. So one that do not let anyone do this on you is IPL.
IPL.
Yep. Okay. IPL is a hard no. Just no.
Okay.
IPL is broad light, and it works by heating everything. Skin types 1 and 2, light skin types, amazing. But we have melanin, it will absorb that and can burn the skin.
Right.
So IPL is a no.
So ladies, that's really, really important that if we're thinking about laser, there are lasers that we can use, but any laser that is an IPL, Dr. Ejikeme, we should not be using that. Okay, so thank you. So what should we be using? What can we be using?
There are lots of lasers that are safe. Again, just because a laser is safe, you need to also make sure that the practitioner has the training and has shown, this is a conversation. Have you treated people that look like me before? Have they been okay? Ask the question. You'll be surprised. People are honest. They will tell you, actually, you're my first person, or I haven't had many people. Really important to be clear.
Yes.
For laser hair removal, an ND-YAG, that's an ND-YAG laser, is the safest.
Okay.
Now, saying an ND-YAG is like saying car. They all have different brands. Yep. So you have to ask, they might say, oh, it's a blah blah laser. So you can ask, is that an ND-YAG? That's the safest laser for laser hair removal.
Okay, so when it's coming to laser hair removal, again, we're going to put all of these kind of acronyms and descriptions and names in the caption, sort of down below. So you can have, you can do your own research. But what we're saying is that if we're going for laser hair removal, we should be asking and making sure that the machine or the technology that you're using is an ND-YAG.
Yeah,
Okay.
there are other different types of lasers, and some of them are okay. Like an Alexandrite could be okay, but the safest is the ND-YAG.
Okay, that's good to know.
Then it comes to kind of rejuvenation treatments, and there are lots of lasers now that can be used for rejuvenation. The pico laser is one that is just everywhere right now.
Okay.
The thing I will say about a pico laser is I love the pico lasers. They are lasers that use loud sound and a bright light rather than just heat to treat the skin. They are extremely good. Extremely good at hyperpigmentation, rejuvenation, stimulating collagen, but it's still a laser. You do have to still make sure that the person knows what they're doing. They have the right credentials, they've treated you before. And if someone tells you a pico can never cause any issues, this is not true. It's still a laser.
It's still a laser.
Yeah, it's just.
And so what I'm also hearing is that there are two types of laser. So we've got laser that removes hair, laser hair removal, and that's your
ND-YAG.
ND-YAG.
There are many types of lasers.
But then there's rejuvenation. Lasers.
There are so many different. And even a laser hair removal laser can be used for rejuvenation.
Oh my goodness!
So
all of mine.
It's more about each of the lasers have different endpoints. They're called a chromophore, and that endpoint is different things. It could be water, it could be pigment, it could be brown, red, or green pigment, and that laser can be used in different ways to rejuvenate, to treat, kind of to remove skin, to augment skin, to even remove hairs. So you go in saying, okay, this is the treatment that I want, and then they will tell you the kind of laser that is the best laser for it. All you need to know is if you hit IPL, out you go.
Okay.
And if you're doing laser hair removal, you can ask what is the safest laser that you have. The safest medically is an Nd:YAG for laser hair removal.
So again, it's all coming down to that conversation.
Yes.
It's identifying what you want as a solution. What's your end point? Is it removing hair? Is it increasing collagen? Is it any of the sort of things that laser can offer? And then making sure that you identify a great clinic, a great doctor, and talking through the results you want to achieve, and then checking and double checking and triple checking the safety of the laser they are proposing.
And ask questions. You know, this is part of that rapport. Ask questions. You know, what can go wrong? If something goes wrong, what will happen? Are there any alternatives? And you know, I do this in my consult. We don't have every laser.
Yes.
We have most lasers, and we have every laser for black skin.
Yes.
But again, I might say to, you know what, you need surgery, and here's the person I recommend. That result you're not going to get. And so the person that you speak to should tell you options that even they don't have. So what do you have? Because if you only have one machine, then all of a sudden you can fix everyone to that one machine. So it's important to say, actually, this is my concern. Do you have the right machine? You know, I'll come to you for a facial, but maybe not for that.
So ladies, I think it's about just making sure that when if we're delving into the worlds of treatments, lasers, technology, that we're asking all the questions, that we're doing our research in terms of, you know, what machinery are they going to be using on our bodies, our faces, and you know, and the wider body, and making sure that we are safe. That's been
and it's important
helpful.
to know that it's not scary.
Yes.
Like these treatments, when done in safe hands, they can be comfortable. You can have low downtime. You can have amazing results. But you need to go in knowing that, okay, I have to ask loads of questions. You know, come in with your list of questions. It's okay. And if somebody pushes back or seems irritated or doesn't want to ask your question,
not the surgeon for you.
That's not the person for you. They should know that you'll come with anxiety because of, you know, when I first had an aesthetic treatment, I came with anxiety.
Why would you not? Yes.
So that's part of the process. So the first time is just going to be a conversation sometimes to say, you know, have you answered all my questions? Do I really feel comfortable? Have I read your reviews? Have I seen your before and afters? Do I feel happy with you?
So again, you know, I think really understanding the results that you want, doing your research, and also making sure that once you have you are in a consultation with a doctor, making sure that they're patient, they're compassionate, but also they are experts in what they are doing, they are qualified, and they are experienced. And I think that, gosh, I mean, that's face, and we're just getting started. We haven't even got into hair, body, and beyond. So I think that's good for the face.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
This is the M-Seller chair, and so it uses high fem technology. It has different modes depending on where you're starting. A weaker mode and a stronger mode. And it's important just to see how easy it is to have the treatment.
It looks like actually like a comfortable chair that I'd read a book in.
It is. It's a very comfortable chair, actually. So Mei Ling's going to come and have a seat on it. She's going to show her. So that it's currently on. So in terms of the chair, you literally just sit down on the chair like this, exactly like she has, and you get into the right position, and it gives you feedback. So you can actually feel very, very light contractions happening. And this is how it teaches you how to do your pelvic floor. So you get in the right position, and we go through exactly to make sure that you're in the right position.
Okay.
And so right now we are at 3%.
Okay.
And it can go way up to even 100%.
Okay.
And so you work your way up to get to
again on your personal requirements.
Exactly.
But I'm just saying, like, again, when you were talking about it, I was imagining a contraption.
I know.
Sort of, whereas it's just like a pretty blue chair.
It's just a chair. It's a pretty big chair, and so nice that you can sit on it fully clothed. So even with no metal around, so you come in very leggings, no stirrups. And then you just sit down and you have the treatment, 45 minutes. You slowly take it up. We give you some privacy. You relax for a bit, and that's your treatment.
Phenomenal. Okay.